Hey everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books. Today we're going to be diving into my first two books of my Romantasy Top 100 Scratch Off, which you can see right here. I am really excited, so let's get into it and find out which books we are going to read. So I'm also doing a mini series of this over on my Instagram, Liz Loves Books 95, so you could also follow me over on there. But I ended up doing a random number generator and I got number 59 on this scratch off, and that ended up being Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. So that is an amazing first book choice. Since I don't have that book on my TBR, but it is on Kindle Unlimited, got lucky with that one, and looked on Goodreads just to see kind of a synopsis of what it's about. I know a little bit about it, but not too much. And on Goodreads, it is a 4.17 average rating, which is really good, but I'm kind of surprised about that one because I feel like I've just heard not the best things about this first book and that people don't like the FMC DM. So we're going to see how I feel about it. But Goodreads says, in a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel offspring, DM Bellator yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offer DM an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, mysterious heir watching her every move and a ruthless mortal alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, DM will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. And this is book one in, I believe it's a quartet. It's called the Kindred's Curse Saga. And it's going to be exciting because I think the last book is actually coming out this fall. So if I like this, I can read the rest of them on Kindle Unlimited over the summer and then read the fourth release once it comes out and decide if I want to purchase them for my shelves or not. So yeah, let's get into reading the book. Hey everybody, so I'm here with an update on Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. And I am actually on chapter 23, 71% into the book. I was going to update at like 30%. And then I got to 50 and I was like, I'll update 50%. And then I got to 70%. I was like, I should update before I finish the book so I can at least have 2 updates for this book. But I am enjoying this one quite a bit, actually. I was nervous because I hadn't seen great reviews about book 1. But I am not like getting any of like the annoying commentary from our FMC DM like I've heard people talk about. So that's really exciting. I do think like there could be a little bit more going on in the book. I mean, it's weird. It's like there's things occurring, but at the same time, I feel like they're just like moving really slowly, and maybe that's just how the writing is. It's not like a critique or anything like that. I think it's just a little different than like books that I maybe have read lately or I'm used to reading. I'm not sure, but as I said, I'm liking it. I'm liking all the characters, although I'm not super connected to any of the characters except for DM. So maybe that's where that kind of slowish vibe is coming from. I'm kind of gauging it. I think it's definitely good that I read this on Kindle Unlimited, because being 70% in, I don't know if I like actually want to purchase the book or not. It could still change. Who knows? But they're all on Kindle Unlimited, which is a plus for me. But yeah, in this book, we're following our FMC. Her name is DM Bellator, and she lives in the poor part of Lumnos, which is the overall city in this world, and she is trained to be a healer, which is what her mother was doing before her mother disappeared earlier on in the book. And she and all of her people that she works with that are in like the healing like quadrants and everything, they travel to the big city to help and heal all of the various descended people who are the people that are descended from the gods who kind of created the whole world. They have like super strength, super speed, like things like that. There's a bunch of different worlds in this book where all the descendants come from. So she goes there to help with like healing and everything like that. Yeah, in the beginning of the book, they have a little key that's called the Realms of Amarian. Amarian is the overall country, and then the city or realm she's in is Lumnos, which is the realm of light and shadow. It says, a light which burns while shadows bite, their eyes of blue haunt day and night. So basically anybody that's a descendant in this city of Lumnos has blue eyes. And our main character DM has kind of like these like gray eyes, so they're lighter than the commoners. All the commoners have really dark eyes, like dark brown eyes. So a lot of people always mistake her for a descended, but she's like super adamant. She's like, I am not one of those people. I am immortal. I am just a healer. There was like a childhood accident that caused my eyes to change color, which I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, what accidents cause your eyes to change color, even in fantasy worlds? Like, she's definitely has to at least be like half descended, which if she is, that is actually illegal in the world, which is kind of interesting. Just because they don't want like the descendants' blood being diluted, very similar to the, you know, effect of Nazi Germany in the 1930s. They didn't want anybody's like blood pool to be intermingled and intermixed with people that they didn't deem worthy, which is exactly what they're doing in this world. But there's also a bunch of other realms that we've gotten light mentions of. There's the realm of Fortos, which is force and valor, so they're super strong. You've got Faunos, realm of beast and brute, and they're basically all have like yellow eyes, but they're kind of more like animalistic in nature. And then there's a bunch of other realms that haven't really been talked about yet in this book, except for Umbros, which is a realm of mind and secret. Their eyes are like jet black, and they've mentioned them a little bit. And then there's a couple other realms that haven't been brought up very much yet. I'm hoping we get more info on them soon. But this world, it is a lot to kind of grasp and get your head around. And I think that's why the author has moved it pretty slowly to begin with, because otherwise it would get too confusing. And then we've also got all of our side characters in this book too. We've got Diem's father and her younger brother, whose name is Teller, who is a student. He's like a senior in high school, basically. He's a student at the Royal like Academy that's only for like descended students, and he got in there because of a pact his mother made, who promised she would heal and be like the healer for basically like the king of all descended in the realm of Lumnos, in exchange for him to be able to go to this school. So we've got them, and then we've also got Diem's kind of love interest, whose name is, you can say Henry, but it's Henry with an I, so Henri in French. That's how I've been reading it. And kind of dealing with that situation, and he becomes a little bit more important later on in the book, which I've noticed, and has a little bit more bigger of a part to play, I think, in the series. And then we also have the heir to Lumnos. His name is Luther. We've met him a few times in the book already, although he's a little bit more minor of a character than I thought he would be, but I'm kind of liking that because it's moving quite a bit slower, which is nice. It's weird. It's nice and it's not at the same time, which I know doesn't make any sense. But I think his character, we're going to get a big like expansion on his character and how he is. We've kind of gotten more just like touching the surface views of him, and then like views about him from other characters like his little sister Lily, who is a friend of Diem's brother Teller, and who Diem has helped heal in a situation later on in the book. So I'm intrigued to hear more about him later on and into the second book, because I think I will continue on in this series. But yeah, that's kind of all I can say right now, even though I'm 70% in the book, because just so much of it could be spoilery. But I'm excited to kind of get through this last chunk and then come back and tell you what my thoughts are, and for us to pick our next book from our scratch off. Alright guys, I'm here to give another update on Spark of the Everflame. Update is I finished it and I rated it 4 stars. I don't have much else to say about it other than what I did in my previous update at like the 70% mark. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to continue on in this next book in the series. They're all on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm definitely going to continue reading it on there. And if I end up feeling like the second book like moves into that 5-star range, then I'll consider maybe getting this series. But right now I'm going to keep it on KU. So it was a really great start to the Scratch Off series. Although I have bad news for the second book that was supposed to be in this vlog. And that is that I DNF'd Wildest Dreams by Kirsten Ashley at 5% in. When I saw this one and I read the description, I had a very scary feeling that I was going to DNF it. This is like a paranormal fantasy romance. It was published in 2011. So like when I was in high school, I think I was probably like, yeah, I think I was a junior in high school. And the only paranormal books I was reading was Twilight. That was it. And that was vampires, so it's not even as paranormal like animals as this book, I have a feeling, was going to be. But basically, this book was about our main character. I never figured out how to pronounce the character's name because it was like Sjofin, Chauvin, I don't even know. But her actual name in the beginning was Finny, and we're basically following her, and she gets transported into this magical world, but it's by her own choice. It's like weird. It's like there's like 2 different worlds, and you have like a twin within each world. So the concept was really cool. So basically it's like she's in the human realm, and then her twin was in like a fantasy realm, and so she pays this witch in her world to be able to go over to her twin's world and like swap places almost, because she wants to be able to meet her parents again, because I believe that they had died in like, I think it was a car crash or something like that in her world. Don't quote me, I don't remember much anymore. And that's like her ultimate goal, is to do that. So this all has happened in the first, and a marriage all happens in the first 5% of the book. This book moves at like lightning speed. I was like, what is even happening? And I found out it is a standalone book within like, but an interconnected series. So that makes sense why the speed was like really quick, but I was just like, it was just so much to take in, and I just like couldn't handle all of it. And the writing wasn't super great either, and it had a lot of like kind of that like modern day like slang in it combined with the fantasy world, and I'm usually not huge on that, especially if it's like extremely like of that time language, which this one was. And yeah, it was just not for me. And I'm trying to debate if I should scratch it off because I DNF'd it, but I don't want to leave it on there and, not scratched off. So I think I'm going to scratch it off and then maybe like in a red marker write DNF or something like that. Because there are a couple books on here that I've DNF'd in the past, but I'm going to try them one more time. So I think I might do that just so I can have like, that satisfaction of having everything on here eventually. But yeah, so that was kind of disappointing for that. But we're going to pick the next book and I'll include it in this vlog. So we have at least 2 fully read books. Hey guys, so I'm here to give an update on A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, and I am so glad that I decided to add another book into this vlog because I am liking this book a lot more than Wildest Dreams, which I just DNF'd. I am about like, I think 35% into the ebook for this one, which I got from my library, which is amazing. And yeah, in this book we're basically following 2 POVs. We're following a POV of a prince of this fantasy world. His name is Ren. And then we're following the POV of our female protagonist, whose name is Harper. And she is actually from our world. She is from Washington, D.C. And she ends up getting kidnapped, so to say, from her world and brought into this world by Gray, who is Ren's like right-hand guy, like basically his like bodyguard, protector, knight, if you want to call him that, in this fantasy world. So you're following really those 3 characters. Although Gray does not have a POV, but I wish he did because I really like him as a character. I'm hoping maybe if I continue on in the series, he'll have POVs in the 2nd and 3rd book. I feel like that could be a direction that the author goes into, but we will see. But yeah, so we have Harper and she is in Ren's world. I can't remember the name of the place. So what we've been dealing with mostly so far in this book is Harper getting to this fantasy world, kind of learning a little bit more about it through Ren and Gray, and she is learning that there is a curse that is placed on the kingdom. Kind of gives me a little bit of like Beauty and the Beast vibes to some degree, but I know that it's not exactly that. But basically the curse that is being put on this kingdom is Ren and Gray are both supposed to go through like each season. And this is Ren's last season of trying to break the curse. And so Harper is his last chance of finding a woman each year to be able to break this curse. It's been like an 18-year-long curse, I believe. And basically she wasn't the one that they were supposed to be grabbing. She actually protected the girl in her world that Gray was trying to bring back. So she is not meant to be there, but of course she's not meant to be there, but she's going to be the one, I'm sure, that breaks that curse. And she has basically now just been trying to like escape this castle because they've kind of kept her locked up in a room. I mean, like, they've been treating her well other than that. It's kind of a weird dichotomy. And she's also met a couple of, like, the citizens that live in the area, and they are all, like, super poor, and because Ren has basically spent the rest of his rule trying to break out of this curse and not taking care of all of his constituents in the world, and then there's war brewing, you know, your typical fantasy romance plotline. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm going to try to read more of it to see, you know, if my enjoyment keeps continuing, and I will update you guys when I get further into the book.